going to go over some problems just to kind of get you guys started, to help you guys out so that you can review and be ready for that second rational numbers test. All right, so we're going to start off with number 8. So we have negative 4/15 divided by 3/5. Whenever you have a divided by sign, you are going to keep, change, flip. Okay? So what does that look like? You're going to keep the first number the same. Then you're going to change this division to a multiplication. And then you're going to flip this one to where the bottom is now the top and the top is now the bottom. Now, when you get here, you are just multiplying like normal. So we get top times top, bottom times bottom. So 4 times 5 is 20. Then we have 15 times 3. So I'm going to come out here. We're going to do 15 times 3. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. So we get 45. Okay? Now, we have a negative and a positive. And whenever we multiply or divide, we do our tic-tac-toe chart. Where you have plus, 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 minus, 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 minus. So we have a negative and a positive, which makes a negative. So my answer is going to be negative. Now, we get 20 over 45. This we have to see if we can simplify it. So we ask ourselves, what number can I divide both of these by to make it smaller? Well, I think 5. Now, if you're not sure, you can always try the numbers 2, 3, 5, and 7, okay? Usually, numbers can be divided by those. So I'm going to divide both of these by 5 to make it smaller, okay? 20 divided by 5 is 4, and 45 divided by 5, well, let's say I don't know what that is. 5 goes into 45, let's say 9. So we get 4 over 9, and we keep our negative, and so this is our final answer. Okay, now we're going to do number 9. We have negative 11 over 12 minus a negative 3 over 8. So the first thing that we need to do is when we have this negative, there's 2 options. Option number 1 is we keep, change, change. Option number 2 is that we circle. Okay, so if I'm going to keep, change, change, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the first one the same. I'm going to change this minus to a plus. And I'm going to change this negative to the opposite, which is positive. Okay, so now I have a negative and a positive. They're different signs, so I would subtract. Or, if you're one of those that circles, you take the first number, look what's in front of it, and circle it. Take the second number, circle what's in front of it. Now here, this one's negative. This one has 2 signs. Both of them are negative. Well, a negative and negative we know makes a positive. All right? Now if we look at this, they are different signs, and different signs we subtract. Okay? So it doesn't matter which way you do it, whether you do keep, change, change, whether you circle. Either way, it gives you different signs, and so we're going to subtract. So now, whenever we subtract fractions, we cannot do this because the bottom is not the same. So what we have to do is we have to find a common denominator. So I'm going to look at the factors of 12. So we have 12, 24, 36, on and on and on. For 8, we have 8, 16, 24, on and on and on. Well, look, 24 is in both of those lines, meaning 24 is my common number. So I'm going to switch this denominator to 24. So if I have 11 over 12, I want to make it to where the bottom number is 24. Well, if I do something to the bottom, I have to change it to the top. And whatever you change the bottom by, you also have to change that to the top. So to go from 12 to 24, I times it by 2. So whatever you do on the bottom, you do on the top. So I get 22. Now for the second one, we have 3 over 8. Again, I want that to be 24 on the bottom. To go from 8 to 24, I multiply by 3. Whatever you do on the bottom, you do on the top. So I get 9. Now I can subtract, okay? So I had that 11 over 22. So we got 22 over 24 minus the 3 over 8, which we said was equal to 9 over 24. So now we subtract. 22 minus 9, come out here. See if you can do the subtraction. Pause the video. Alright, that cannot be subtracted, so this becomes a 1. This becomes a 12. 12 minus 9, see if you can do it. It's 3, and you bring the 1 down. So we get 13 over 24. And then we keep the sign of the bigger number. So if we look at this one, or if we look at this, the 22 is bigger than the 9. Well, the 22 is negative, so my answer is going to be negative. Alright, the next one we're going to do is 13. Now with 13, it's almost the same as the other one. We're going to start off by doing keep, change, change, or circling. So if you do keep, change, change, keep this the same, change this, and so all of them are positive, so we're going to add. Okay? Now, if you're one of those that circles, then you take your number, circle what's in front of it. Take your number, circle what's in front of it. A negative and a negative makes a positive. And look, they're both positive, so we also add. So either way, like I said before, both you add. Okay, both ways work. Now, the only difference, though, is we have this improper fraction here. We want this mixed number. We want to change it to an improper fraction. So the way that we do that is we go around the world, or Texas, or whatever you guys want to call it. Okay? So we're going to multiply here, and we're going to add here. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So this is 8 over, and the bottom number stays the same. Okay? Plus 3 over 4. Now, we don't have the same denominator. We have to change it. So we're going to write out our factors. We have 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 4 is 28. On and on and on. 4, you have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, on and on and on. So the number that's the same between both is this 28. So we take our first number, 8 over 7. I need 28 to be at the bottom. To go from 7 to 28, I multiply by 3. So whatever you do on the bottom, you also do on the top. 8 times 3 is 24. Oh, wait, no. This is times 4, sorry. Times 4. And 8 times 4 is 32. Okay. Now you do the second one. We have 3 over 4. I need to get 28 on the bottom. So 4 times 7 gives me 28. So I'm going to do the same at the top. And 3 times 7 is 21. So now we have 3 over 2. Or 32 over 28 plus 21 over 28. So 32 plus 21. See if you can do it. You should have gotten 53 over 28. Now, when look at your signs, both of them are positive, so this is going to be positive. When your top number is bigger than your bottom, you're going to divide. Okay, so if you need to write that, write that. So we got 53 divided by 28. See if you can divide. Pause the video, see if you can divide. 28 goes into 53 one time. So we get 28. Now you have to take 53 and subtract that from 28. You get 25. So from here, I could add a decimal, add a 0, bring it down, but I don't want to do that, okay? So what I'm going to do is this stays. This remainder becomes your numerator. And then your denominator is going to stay the same, so that's 28. Okay? And so this is your final answer. Okay, next one we're going to do is 17. 17, this means multiply. Okay? Now, you have this mixed number. We need to change it to an improper fraction. So remember, the way that we do that is we go around the world, multiply and add. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. You get 5 over 3. So we have 1/4 times 5 over 3. Top times top, bottom times bottom. So we get 5 over 12. Okay, and you can't simplify that or divide or anything. That's your final answer. And then the last one we're going to do is 25. So here you have a decimal and a fraction. So we want to change that decimal to a fraction. Okay, so the way we change a decimal to a fraction is we put that whole number that's on the outside. That's our whole number. It stays. Okay, it doesn't change. Now, that number behind the decimal, that is our numerator. All right? And so we say, okay, well, how many places behind the decimal is it? It's one place behind the decimal, so I'm going to add 1 0. Okay? If you had like 1.62, then it'd be 62 over. It's 2 places, so you add 2 zeros. All right? And then so on. Now, you can either keep it like this or you can simplify it. So I can say, oh, look, 6 and 10, I can divide both of these by 2. So it gives me 1 3/5. So it's a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to deal with. If you want to keep it as this, you definitely can. Or you can simplify it before you start your work. It's up to you. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to change this to an improper fraction. So we're going to multiply here, and we're going to add here. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3, 8 over 5. Now, we subtract. We have 8 over 5 minus 1 over 6. Now, I do not have the same denominator. I have to get a common denominator. So, we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. So, the number that's common is this 30. So, we have 8 over 5. I need 30 as my denominator. To go from 5 to 30, I'm going to multiply by 6. Remember, what you do on the bottom, you have to do on the top. So 8 times 6. And then we do 1 over 6. I need 30 at the bottom because that's the number that we're trying to change it to. To go from 6 to 30, I multiply by 5. Whatever you do on the bottom, you got to do on the top. 1 times 5 is 5. Okay? Now we rewrite it. We have the 8 over 5 is first, so that means the 48 over 30 is first, minus the 1 over 6, and the 1 over 6 was 5 over 30. And so now we subtract. 48 minus 5. See if you can do it. And your denominator stays the same. Okay? Now, your top number is bigger than your bottom, so we are going to divide. Top in, bottom out. Okay? 30 goes into 43 one time. Okay? Do your subtraction. 3 minus 0 is just 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. Now, I could add a decimal, add a 0, bring it down, turn it into a decimal. I don't want to do that. I want to keep it as a fraction. So my whole number stays. My 13 goes on the top because that's the numerator, and my denominator stays the same. All right. Now, if we look at if it's going to be positive or negative, well, the 48 over 30 is bigger than the 5 over 30, and the 48 was positive, so I know my answer is going to stay positive. All right. So that's it. If you need help, let me know. Come and ask me. If you want to check your work, come and ask me. But you guys, if you can do this page or these problems by yourself, then you're going to be fine on the test. But you got to understand the rules, and you got to understand everything on this page. All right.